Hi there. Welcome to the Carl with a C show on Breakthrough TV. I'm your host, Carl with a C. On the show, we'll be exploring music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. We'll be giving you news, scoops, and reviews. We also have our guests on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our very special guests, for Kings and Queens. We also have a feature on our show called Our Giant of Music. I will also be telling you about a brand new artist to watch. Finally, I'll be giving you my personal view of what's happening around the world in 60 seconds. So, grab a drink, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. So, ladies, how you doing?
Fine, thanks very much, Carl.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
And let me say, how is your journey here?
We had a blessed journey.
You had a blessed journey.
Yes.
And you're Kush Goldie, yeah?
Kush.
Kush Goldie.
Kush Goldie.
Well, and you're soulful life.
Yes.
Well, see, that is easy to remember. Isn't it? And you are from a group as well, aren't you? You're from a group.
Yes.
Tell us the name of your group. Because I don't want to make the mistakes. Because I know if I say it, you're going to repeat it. I'm going to say it anyway. I know if I say it, you're going to say it anyway. But I'm going to say it anyway. You're from a group called For Kings and Queens.
For King and Queen.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
quirky name, you see, because obviously it could sound like we are swearing, but it is not swearing. It's For King and Queen.
Marvelous.
2 kings,
Marvelous.
2 queens.
Yes. So how do you
Four
come?
members.
How do you come by that name? How do you come by that name? How did you come by that name?
Well, actually, I was the one. My son, he used to be on PlayStation, and his name was. It was for
The Four King.
For King. So I thought, oh, that sounds
Quirky, yeah.
So there's 4 members of us in this group, so let's call it For King and Queen.
You could get into trouble with that name, though, couldn't you?
You could, but it's not swearing, so.
So, how's it been going with the group? How's it been going? I know you've been on things like British Got Reggae, was it?
Britain's Got Reggae.
You was
yes.
in that, and also you was the Simon Lockdown.
Yes.
How did that go?
Yes, that went fantastic. It was a really good show.
Okay.
Got some really good feedback from it. So if you haven't watched it, go on to YouTube, Simmer Down Lockdown Festival 2020, and it's part 1, and we're 59 minutes into it.
Okay. So let me ask you then, how did you get involved in music? How do you get involved in music?
Well, we've been born into music. Music was always there, so
Exactly.
it was something that was already there. So
Mhm.
we kind of grabbed it by the horns and said, we're going to immerse ourselves into
Okay.
it.
Can you remember the first tune you ever bought?
Really, but I remember the first album that I loved,
Playing.
and it was Bob Marley, and it was the Kaya Now
The
album.
Kyle Bow.
Yes, and I played it till I knew every single song on the album.
I think if I'm not mistaken, that the Kaya album was actually made in London.
Oh.
Okay.
It may have been mixed at Tough Gong, but it was
Okay.
actually I think it was actually made in London. You know what I mean? So how do you get work? How do you get work? Bookings and all that sort of stuff. How do you do it? You got an agent? How do you find your own work and that sort of stuff?
Well, at the moment we're finding our own work.
Yes.
And now that everybody can see us, if you do want to
Hire us, then you can find us on Instagram for King and Queen and on Facebook for King and Queen.
Marvelous. And how do you see the lockdown going? Because nobody's can. I know even though we're talking about bookings, but nobody can sort of do anything because this lockdown is sort of still here. Because you still got to keep your social defense.
Well, the lockdown really hasn't
Changed
affected
for
us
us.
really, because everybody's gone virtual.
Yeah,
reality.
exactly.
Everybody's alive.
So you just keep on building
Moving
up
with
your
the
craft and
times.
writing your songs and doing what you've got to do. It
Exactly.
can't hold you back. It can just push you
Progress.
forward,
And
really.
have you been writing a lot of songs?
Yes.
Definitely.
So you got a lot of tunes coming out soon.
Yes.
That's
Definitely.
marvelous. That's marvelous. And you are a reggae band or a fusion band? What are you?
We call ourselves a reggae fusion group because we like to jump on different type of beats and genres and bring the reggae vibe to that particular
Okay.
track.
Okay. And say reggae. As I say, reggae artists. Who do you like? Who you really like?
There's loads. For now, that's doing it now. It would be Chronics, Pro Today, Leela, Savannah, Coffee.
Yeah,
The list goes on.
I like Lee. I like
Yeah.
Coffee as well, and I like Savannah. And,
Yes.
there's another lady that I do like. Naomi
Naomi
Collins.
Cohen, yes, that was it. It was in my head.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, she was on the Simmer Down show as well.
Yeah, she was.
She was the headline.
And she's actually related to. She's actually the daughter of Jamaican producer Tommy Collins.
Okay.
Yeah, and her mother is Colin Davis.
Okay.
And her father, actually, Tommy Cummins, was at one time a road manager for who else?
Bob Marley.
It's amazing. It's amazing how so she actually got a very, very strong background.
Yes.
The background in music. So music is your life, I gather.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, what about the other guys? What are they doing today?
The two men.
The two.
The two kings.
Yeah.
Sadly, they couldn't be here today. They're tending to projects that they do individually, because as well as a group that we're in, we do individual projects ourselves. So I am also a actress, and Kush Goldie.
I'm an artist also.
What?
I do paintings,
Okay.
sculptures,
Okay.
and embroidery.
Right. So I'm gonna commission you now to paint me, not me. Not me. I'm gonna commission you now because you know what I'm gonna say. Innit? What am I gonna say?
To paint you.
I'm gonna paint me, not me. That's too vague. I'm gonna commission you paint me a nice guitar.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you know about. And can you play?
Exactly.
You know I'm obsessed with my guitar. Innit?
Yeah, definitely.
And a saxophone.
Yeah.
You can do that because saxophone is very.
Yeah.
I imagine the saxophone is very, very tricky. To
Not
paint.
really, because you could. If you're creative.
Yeah, I'm
like Kush
creative
Goldie,
and
then.
I'm into very intricate details, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that would
And where can we find you?
Well, at the moment, you can find me on Instagram
Okay.
at Kush Goldie.
All right.
And you can find me on Instagram as well, at Soulfully.
Okay. Marvelous. So, I still got to ask you then, being as this show is about people from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Say, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. Famous reggae artists, because I know you're a big reggae fans. Favorite reggae artists from say back in the 70s or even the 60s.
Garnet Silk.
Garnet
definitely,
Silk.
Definitely
Yes.
Garnet
Garnet
Silk.
Silk. Yeah, because one of your, I saw one of the guys in your group, and he's a big Garnet Silk fan. He has even when I first heard him, he actually even sounded like Garnet. He actually sounded like Garnet. But I can see the Garnet Silk influence him. Who else do you like?
Burning Spear.
Burning Spear. Burning Spear is just without saying. Burning Spear is actually one of my favorite bands. You know what I mean, and I said the Marcus Garvey album was probably one of the first album I saw that ever bought. You know what I mean. What about Bob Marley and the Wailers?
Of
Yes,
course,
definitely.
they're the biggest. You know what I mean? That went
Influence.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you know you can't leave out Bob.
And who would you like to do a collaboration with if you could? Past or present? Nobody say Bob Marley. There's more.
No, it would be Bob, but it
there's
would.
There's
but
more
obviously,
there's more
Yeah.
artists out there.
There's a wide
There's a
range.
there's more artists out there.
I think we'd like to work with Protege.
Protege.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chronic.
he's a very busy guy, Protege,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
because he's behind those
Leela,
Savannah, Savannah,
Yeah.
Yeah, come
And,
to England, Protege. Come in.
You've seen us before, and you said that we're crazy with the fashion. He actually said that to us.
and he's actually linked up with what's the name of the lady? As you said, Savannah.
Yeah.
And he's done a remix with Alicia Keys as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
we know. I've heard a little bit of that.
It's a cover
And
of
Chronics as well.
yeah,
They're both of them on there.
which is actually marvelous. They're doing really
good stuff. Yeah.
really well. As I say, I love my reggae music, and there's such a whole lot of different artists coming through. And one of the things, like sometimes, and I'm not criticizing anybody, like sometimes you'd get a lot of people who play the same old music, all in one. There's nothing wrong in playing old music. It's good playing old music, but
you need
sometimes you need to give play music for the younger, for the younger. And I'm not even saying that. And the point I'm trying to make is that if the guys like Cox and Dodd from all those studios, if they didn't play younger, new music,
yes,
there'll be no Studio One.
Exactly.
Say with Treasure Island, if they didn't sort of play those new artists that was coming through, there'll be no. So you always have to. A lot of people say new music, but there's a lot of good music out there, and I know that. You know what I mean? It's just you need to find it, or you need to buy it, or you need to search it. There's a lot of artists out there. You know what I mean? But
there's a lot of
and it can be a little bit, and I'm not criticizing anyone because of music or whatever. It can be a bit when you hear they keep saying you go to different dances, you hear the same tune rolling.
Over
and the next week you go to the next week you go to the same dance and you hear the same thing rolling over, and you go to the other dance and it's the same thing. And it doesn't just happen with it just seems to happen with a whole lot of music.
Spectrum,
you can get it with soul, you can get it with reggae, you can get it with R&B, and it's sometimes it's a little bit. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, but that's why it's good for DJs out there to
play
plug
new
the new
artists.
Yes.
Because with new artists brings new genres.
That's right. That's a new influence, a new collaboration.
Exactly,
I totally support that. So where do you see yourself in the next, say, 3 years? I'm not gonna say 18 months. because the whole lockdown thing is sort of
still on lockdown.
Everybody, where do you see yourself in the next 3 years?
We see ourselves abroad
on stage,
touring.
That's good.
With an album.
Yeah.
Also,
we do different things.
Yeah.
That's good.
We've got merchandise.
Yes.
We create clothes as well.
You say you
we've got
create
a company
clothes.
called
Freaking Fabulous. So if you want to look that up, Freaking Fabulous 1 on Instagram and Facebook. And we're also selling these glasses, what we're wearing today.
Shades.
These are exclusive glasses. They're called flaming glasses. And
these are just your bling bling glasses.
Well, where's my glasses? How come you never plug?
We'll bring you on the next show.
How come you never bring my glasses today? I mean, I could actually do with the glasses. How come you never bring me? Or my producer. There's a producer around.
We'll
sort that out for you.
I think sometimes my producer he needs his glasses. Sorry, producer. And I was saying, so ladies, let me say thank you for coming into the show. You got something else you want to tell us about?
Yes, we didn't discuss it when you was interviewing us.
Yes.
We have a Lockdown Friday show that we do every Friday on Instagram, my Instagram, Soulful, and basically on that show we do comedy, we do discussions, and we do head tops and freestyles. We also have our Pinky and Purr.
Pinky and what?
Hello. Me is Pinky.
And me is Purr.
And we do a show
what do they do?
called the Pinky and
Purr Show. Tune in.
There you have it, guys. Marvelous. Let me say thank you for coming. It's been absolutely marvelous. We're definitely gonna have you back at the show at a later date. You know what I mean? Have you enjoyed yourself coming at the show?
Yes. We've enjoyed ourselves.
Enjoy yourself. Yes.
Remember, look us up on the socials for King and Queen, Soulful, Kush Goldie, I, King J Ras, Taliban.
And Pinky
and Purr. And Freaking Fabulous for the merchandise.
And let me just ask you, when do you think you'll be able to get back on stage? What do you think, roughly? Next year? Because a lot of stuff is... Yeah, but you know what I think now? I think next year is going to be packed.
Definitely going to be packed.
Because a lot of people saying this is gonna happen next year, that's gonna happen next year, the show's gonna happen next year. You know what I mean? I gotta tell you.
With restrictions.
I've got to tell you this. I was due to do a show at a very well-known fair in Birmingham. Now you're gonna laugh about this. And we lined up the show. And the show was actually, I got the confirmation from the show. And the show was actually, have a guess which day the show was? 1st of April.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't an April Fool. It sounds like an April Fool. But it wasn't an April Fool. But it was actually the 1st of April this month. And I'm thinking, oh dear, the 1st of April. But the show was cancelled because of the lockdown. So that was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, but that's how it goes sometimes. You know,
But next year you can get geared up.
You can get geared up.
Definitely.
You know, you know what the thing is, you got to take it while it's here.
Exactly.
Because I always say to people, not to, you know what I mean. Sometimes even with a show for as a volunteer for New Star Radio.
Yes.
Sometimes I always say, I will not put off summit. You know what I mean? If there's something that needs mentioning now, I will not put it up for a couple of hours or I never come in for the next day, because I was always bored of that. It's better to do what you've got to do now
rather than put it off for too
than
long.
leaving it for too long. You know what I mean? So providing you've done your work and you've got information, you know what I mean? I always think it's always best to sort of put it out there now. So as I say, let me say once again, thank you for coming, and I know you. I know you've enjoyed your show.
Us.
And,
Yes.
and you,
Thank you from them.
and as I said, I know you've enjoyed. Massive respect. So let me say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls everywhere, give. What's your name again?
Kush Goldie.
And so for that.
And the group.
For King and Queen.
Right, so let me give them a big round of applause.
And Pinky.
Do you sort of soul music and that sort of stuff? You know what I mean? Just
Yes,
you like
definitely.
Yeah.
We're into every music. From opera
You like
to
opera?
Rock.
to rock.
I love my rap music. I love electronic music because the guitar kills it in rap. The guitar, and we know where it's coming from. It's coming from.
Exactly.
We know where the influence of it's coming
Yes.
from.
From that jazz.
Exactly.
You know, we know where the whole influence of all that sort of rock scene is coming from. Even though people may say other things, but we know where the people like Jimi Hendrix or those sort of guys that put the rock into what you call rock. You know what I mean? Nobody ever done what Jimi Hendrix did with a guitar. Nobody never happened before. Never happened before. So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing influence.
And he's an influence as well that we do love as well.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi.
You know that I read an article on Jimi Hendrix. I mean, it's an article I read. I don't know how true this is, but Jimi Hendrix could actually. It could be played, right? And it makes me laugh because this must be hard to do. He could be played, right? And he could somersaults.
What?
I've never seen that. I love to see the video. He could actually somersault and still play, you know.
Still play. Wow.
I love that. Mario, saying I've talked about somersault. I've seen Luciano. Somersault.
Oh my gosh, Luciano!
At the opera in Italy.
Yeah.
I saw him somersault on the stage.
When I seen a video of that, I was like,
I saw him at the Hummingbird.
Yeah. I mean, he's somersault at the Hummingbird.
Yeah.
My
he was doing
days.
some assaults,
Serious. That's marvelous. It's marvelous.
I know.
That's fit.
Flips.
That's fit, isn't it? That's
definitely. But it shows the
entertainment,
discipline
exactly.
Yeah, he's a marvelous artist, man, and he's been going for some time. I recall I was involved in this company, and I was sort of a volunteer in this company, and he had a song out, and this is where I just sort of I knew he wasn't there, but he had this song out called New Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the Hallelujah, there's no new day. I couldn't stop playing. I played this. And then I couldn't stop playing this. And like it was on CDs. And a couple of months ago, I hadn't seen this song for ages. You know, like you do it. You play them and you play them and you put it down. And I couldn't find the song anywhere. And then I pick it up again. And it was absolutely marvelous. But Luciano is like one of them, you know, he's very, very conscious. Well, they don't call him the messenger for anything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? What about female artists, older sort of, from that sort of era? Marcia Griffiths?
Yes.
Marcia Griffiths, Judy Mowat.
She's been here such a long time, isn't it? I mean, like when I think of reggae, I always thought about Marcia Griffiths. She's been there such a
Definitely.
long time, marvelous, and she still goes.
Going.
And the thing about it, she still makes very good music.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All over those years, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
All over those years, she's made fantastic music. Well, ladies, we're gonna carry on. This is where I know it's a bit warm in the studio today. But it's come on, it's summer in the UK. Yeah. And you know, next month is gonna change. And they say you should talk about the weather.
Well, hopefully not.
Next month, the whole it's time, isn't it? It's time. The time is always changing. It
Yes.
never stands still. So once the time is changing, it never stands still. Let me say thank you for coming and chatting to us. And then I'm going to what I call my giant of music. And I say each week we do a giant of music. A giant of music can be from R&B, soul, reggae. So each week we do the research and we choose one. This week, giant of music was born in Westmoreland, Jamaica. He was abandoned by his parents and shuffled among relatives. When he was 15, his aunt died and he moved to Trenchtown, Kingston. I'm talking about Winston Hubert McIntosh, better known as Peter Tosh. He was born 19 of October 1944, a Jamaican musician, and was a member of the Wailers alongside Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer. He first learned to play the guitar after watching a man in the country. The man played the song for half a day. It captivated Peter. He watched the man play the tune, as I say, for half a day. He memorized everything his finger was doing. He then picked up the guitar and played the song back to the man. The man asked Tosh, "Who taught you to play?" He told the man that he did. Tosh went to Joe Higgs, who gave free music lessons to young people. Through his contact with Joe Higgs, he actually met Robert Nesta Marley, who is Bob Marley, and Neville O'Reilly Livingston, Bunny Wailer. He then changed his name to Peter Tosh. According to Bunny Wailer, Tosh was the musician of the band, and he allegedly taught Bob to play the guitar. Tosh had written a lot of the Wailers' tunes, including Get Up, Stand Up. In 1974, Tosh left the Wailers. He released his solo debut album, Legalize It. That was in 1976, and that was with actually CBS Records and Company, and also Island Records. Tosh started to make his own album with Rolling Stones Record and CBS Record. Equal Rights followed in 1977, featuring a recording of a song he co-written with Bob Marley, Get Up, Stand Up, and a cover of one of my favorite songs, Stepping Razor. In 1978, the album Bushman was released. The album featured Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, and Mick Jagger sang lead with Peter Tosh, and it was the cover of the Temptation song Don't Look Back. Yes. Tosh got to be one of the best known reggae artists after the release of that album. In 1983, he released Mama Africa. Tosh went into self-imposed exile after that. But you just never know what's going to happen sometimes. Tosh was also an anti-apartheid supporter. He was awarded a Grammy Award for Best Reggae Performance in 1987 for No Nuclear War. One of my favorite Tosh songs is the old rock and roll classic, the Chuck Berry, Johnny Be Good. And I said, I really love that song. In 1987, Tosh died. He was only 42 years old. A square on Trafalgar Road in Kingston was renamed the Peter Tosh Square. Peter Tosh Museum also opened in October 2016. Among his artifacts display is his M16 guitar. Peter Tosh has been our giant of music, and he was a marvelous artist and also one of my favorite artists. He had culture, he has roots, he had so much more to give. I don't also think he actually reached his full potential. So, Peter Tosh has been our giant of music, and we say maximum respect to his family. This week, we have an artist to watch. Her name is Savannah. Savannah is set to reach great heights with her timeless vocal range and soulful depth. Her vocals and Jamaican patois blending R&B and soul. This has influenced her sound. She was introduced to international audience through her featured on a Sudden Flight album from Proto J. Her hits include Nobody Man 2019 along with Harlan Pull Up. I love Harlan Pull Up. And Harlan Pull Up is actually on the rock and groove rhythm. Over the last year, she has landed solo festival performance at Boomtown, UK, Glebe in Germany, Rotterdam Tom, Sunsplash, Spain. Love that name, Rotterdam Tom. In 2020, her tracks are Be Somebody, Mango, love Mango. You need to see the video of Mango. If You Only Knew, all good tunes. The other thing to do is to check out her video. She is a marvelous lady. So we say Savannah has been our artist to watch. And I'm sure she's going to go on to great things. You will hear a lot more of her. In the USA, Nancy Pelosi unveiled a bill that would give Congress power to remove presidents. In the UK, London is heading for additional coronavirus restrictions, Mayor Sadiq Khan warned. Africa, South Sudan, a group of ruling activists to take the ruling party SPLM to court for a violation of women's rights. China, Beijing places heavy order as the JO-2B stealth fighters enters mass production. Russia, Moscow, Russia sees Trump's pledge to remove troops from Afghanistan as pre-election rhetoric. Jamaica, reggae producer Bonnie Lee died. Tribute pours in. And it's Black History Month in the UK. I know in America and other parts of the world it's a different time. So let me tell you this. The first black band, some people would say group, that was actually had a top hit in the UK is The Real Thing. And they are from Liverpool. And as I say, they are the first black band from the UK to have a top hit in the UK, meaning they was all black. Also, Janet Kay was the first black British-born female artist to have a reggae track at the top of the chart. She is also in the Music Guinness Book of Record. Thank you. Bit of black history there. And remember, the time is always right to do the right thing. Thank you for watching our show, and please give a big round of applause for our very special guests for Kings and Queens. Please remember to like us on all social media platforms. Breakthrough TV. Also, you can look up Carl and Errol. You can email us with your comments or any new idea about your era at breakthroughtv@gmail.com or campbell8794@yahoo.co.uk. Special thanks to Breakthrough Music Studios and also our sponsor, the ACMC 339 Dudley Road, New Star Radio 98.7 FM. Once again, we say special thanks to Breakthrough TV. For information on our sponsors, please email us at breakthroughtv@gmail.com. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.